Hello and welcome to this life vlog, I guess you could call it. Yeah, I just felt like doing this video. I haven't done one of these in a long while on this channel. I used to have a whole separate vlog channel, then I kind of ditched that. And I don't really do these that much at all anymore, really, kind of. So yeah, I'm coming up on my next birthday, and I figured it'd be a good time to kind of reflect on the past year. You know, I'll be 26 on the 4th of July. The American Day of Independence. I used to joke when I was a kid that the Americans actually celebrated my birthday, not their Day of Independence, but there you go. I'll be turning 26, and yeah, what has 25 been like? Same as 24, really, and 23. I mean, you know, the years go on, and you don't seem to realise the change that goes on around you, I think. You get used to where you are, and you kind of forget where you were sometimes. I mean, I'm a very retrospective person. I always think about the past and the future, so I am always thinking about where I've been, but you know, you do forget from time to time, and it's nice to sit down and reflect on things. And past year has been huge for me. I mean, I moved over here to Norway to live with my fiancée Connie, and yeah, it's been tough. It's been tough to come here and not, you know the language, speak it fluently, and try and get a job, and that has been unsuccessful so far. In fact, a couple of weeks ago I posted on Facebook that I was really excited about a job opportunity because it required me to speak English, and so I was really excited about it. I put together an awesome application and stuff, sent it off, and didn't hear anything back. So that was kind of gutting. And then, you know, add to the fact that I had about 50 people liking it on Facebook, and then throughout those 2 weeks of me waiting and slowly coming to the realization that I wasn't even going to get an interview, I was getting people saying, "How did the interview go?" And I'm going, "I didn't get an interview. Didn't get an interview. Didn't get an interview." So that's been kind of crushing, but you know, got to move on and just keep on trying, I guess. I'm trying to learn the language. Last September I took a month-long intensive course, which I think it kind of compacted down like about 3 months of a course into 1 month. It was very intensive, and it was really hard actually. It was a lot being thrown at me, and not all of it stuck, but it was a good basis for me to kind of learn a bit better, I think. And I think, you know, from now, this time last year, I think my Norwegian has definitely improved. I'm understanding things more, I'm able to say things more, I have more knowledge of the language, but I'm far from being fluent. I'm far from being able to hold a proper conversation, which is what I really need before I can get a standard job out here, which is basically, I think, the only option for me right now. So it's tough. I'm trying my best, but you know, it's quite a demotivating thing to do when you haven't even had an interview in a year. I mean, this is the longest I've been without a job since I started working, and it's not fun. You know, you think it'd be great. You know, you don't have a job, you got all this free time. Well, it doesn't really feel like free time. It stresses me out that I can't get a job, and that I seemingly, you know, I'm struggling very hard to get a job. But I have faith that I will get one, you know, and I've got to stay positive about it. The main thing is that I'm here with Connie, you know, because the long distance relationship between us was tough. Tougher than this is, let's put it that way. I mean, but it's hard. It's hard, and I'm just getting really into it now, but it's hard being the guy in the relationship and not being able to contribute to, you know, the household. You know, I mean, we're fine. We get along just fine, but we could be getting along better in terms of, you know, money and security and stuff. And once I get a job, I mean, we'll be awesome once I get a job, because then, you know, we can really start carving out a future for ourselves and a better life for ourselves than we have now, which isn't a bad one. But you know, it's we really need to start moving into that next phase of our lives, I think. So a job is needed. Yeah, it sucks having not even a single penny to your name, especially when you're a movie collector. But that's, you know, that's completely secondary to the primary reason, which is, you know, just to live, you know, and all that kind of stuff. And the US trip took a lot out of us, money wise as well. So we're just kind of recovering from that. But you know, things could be worse, and I'm with the love of my life, and that's what counts. It's really tough being away from family. This is the longest I've ever been away from my family and friends, and that sucks. But you know, with the internet and Skype, it's easier, but it's still not desirable. You know, I really wish the situation was different, but it is what it is. And I'll try not to say that too much, because I say that a lot. Yeah, and again, my first birthday away from home, that's going to be kind of a bit of a downer, really. But you know, just look on the bright side. I'm with Connie at least, and that will be nice. So yeah, the past year, you know, YouTube for me has taken off a bit. You know, I've been doing more things. I did the Michael Keaton month last October. Every day of October I put out a video reviewing one or more of his films. I did his all the films he's ever appeared in chronologically, you know, the whole month. I put a lot of effort into that series, and didn't get an overwhelming response, but I'm happy with it. I'm happy with the effort and time I put into it and how it turned out. Did some, you know, just more of the Star Wars video. I mean, yeah, I've done some cool videos I'm proud of. I've done some rubbish videos that are just there, you know. Made some kind of, I wouldn't say I've made new friends, but I've kind of strengthened the relationships I had with friends through YouTube over the past year or so. You know, people like Matt and Claire and Ian, you know, James. Those guys, you know, I kind of talk to more and become more friendly with, I guess. I don't know, we just, yeah, it's cool to have people like that who have similar interests so you can talk to on a regular basis. And of course Ryan Chataway and Robbie Webster, who are, you know, friends for life as far as I'm concerned. They took me and Connie in, you know, we visited them on a big USA trip, and that was just awesome. Both, you know, visiting Robbie and Hannah and Ryan and his wife Ashley, both, you know, awesome experiences, along with the whole awesome experience that was the huge trip. And I'm really happy with the trip videos I'm putting up from that as well. It's going to take forever to get them all done, but there you go. And I just did the 24-hour movie marathon 3, and that was huge, a 3-hour video, can you believe it? But I've talked about that enough, so I'll just leave that as it is. I'm happy with the response it got, and the people enjoyed it and watched it. And that's, you know, brings me to my next, probably final point, is my goal in life, my dream in life. Obviously my first dream, you know, the primary dream would be to have a healthy, happy family for as much of the time as we could be happy, I guess. And to, you know, not suffer through any tragedies or traumas. You know, that's the most you can hope for. I think anyone can hope for, mainly. But secondary to that, you know, in terms of a career, I don't really have one, you know, but I feel like filmmaking is the career I would love to have. It would be a tough one. I have no delusions of grandeur that it would be an easy job, but being a director, or working on films at least, is something I really want to do. And it's annoying because I sit here now in 2014, I look back to 2004 when I left high school, and I wanted to be a filmmaker. So what have I done in 10 years? Nothing. I've made a few films of my own that aren't that good. I've made a couple of decent YouTube videos. You know, I built up a kind of a YouTube following, I guess you could say. You know, only about 1,600 subscribers, but it's something. It's something I didn't have when I started making films 15 years ago. I was, you know, 11, and I picked up my first camera on my 11th birthday on the 4th of July 1999, and I went out and started making films. And I didn't have an audience. I didn't have anyone to watch my films except for maybe, you know, a friend that would come over. Now I do have an audience, and it's probably a good thing I didn't have an audience back then because my film sucked, but it's great to have an audience, you know, to have even a couple of hundred people watch my videos. You know, I think the second 24-hour movie marathon video I did, which was kind of, you know, another feature length, I called it a vlogumentary, that got like over 2,000 views, and that for me is really awesome. That I can at least reach people and they can see my stuff. But yeah, I feel like the past 10 years have been wasted, honestly, because I wasted a year in art college, a long story, and then I went to TV and film production college, did 3 years there, and I just didn't get the most out of it. I didn't soak it all in. I wasn't as interested in films as I am now, which is a regret, but what are you going to do? You know, I was busy, you know, off wrestling, traveling around the country every month, you know, wrestling in barns and in halls in London and Manchester and Newcastle, and wrestling took over my life, and it, you know, made me some of the best friends of my life and had some of the best experiences in my life. But I kind of wish at the same time I'd really pursued filmmaking, because I could be somewhere right now. I have no doubt, you know, I have a little bit of talent that it could have taken me somewhere, but really, as of now, professionally, I've gone nowhere in the filmmaking industry. Which brings me to another point. Professionally, you know, to be a filmmaker, do you need to have a big blockbuster film out? No. To be a filmmaker, to me, you just need to have a camera, you need to have a vision, you need to execute that vision and present it to an audience, and that you're a filmmaker. Whether it's bad or good, you are a filmmaker. And so I think of myself as a filmmaker, but, you know, I do want to get to that point where I could make a film that was seen by millions of people, to make a film that I would have resources, you know, great actors and, you know, great crew and stuff like that. That would be amazing. But it's not the end game for me. As far as I'm concerned, if I'm 40, 50 years old and I'm making films with a camera that I bought, on editing software that I bought, on my own laptop, with friends or whoever, not professional actors, and I was happy with it, that's enough for me. I'll be making films for as long as I'm around. And books, you know, I've always wanted to write books. And that for me was my first dream when I was a kid. You know, I loved stories, I loved reading, and I loved just trying to tell stories, and that's why I love films, because they tell stories. But you know, I think the written word is just fantastic, and I'm a huge fan of novels, and you know, escaping into a world that's all in your head. I love that, it's brilliant, and I had a huge imagination as a kid, and books just took me to another world. And when I was 8, I started writing a book called Mystic World, which then changed to the Mystica Stones, and there have been about 8 or 9, maybe 10 different versions of that book in my head and on paper since I was 8 years old. It kept evolving, it kept changing. I never got more than a few chapters in, but there's so much stuff that I kind of came up with, and over the past 2 months I've actually really started getting into a book idea that is borrows very loosely from all that stuff I've been trying to do for the past 16, 17 years. And it just all appeared in my head from beginning to end, at least the beginning and the end. The middle, there's nothing there, it's just adventures, but I'm really excited about it because I took a walk to the shop one day, I was listening to Pink Floyd, and it just all hit me like a brick, and I was so excited, and I came back and I was saying to Connie, look, I got this idea, and I was going like, blah, 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 and she was like, how long did it take you to think about this? I was like, 20 minutes, and you know, it just all appeared in my head, but it's so epic that it would take me, if I want to still try and make films, it would take me 10, 15 years, literally, to write all this, I think. But I want to do it, and I will at some point. I hope I do. I hope I stick to it, because my camera battery is running out, so I'm just going to pause it for a second and get back into this. Okay, so I was listening to, the other night, a chapter of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, the audiobook read by Stephen Fry. Sometimes I'll just put that on while I'm going to sleep, because it helps me sleep, it's comforting. And it was a part of the book where Ron and Harry were talking about how Harry could sense Voldemort's emotions because they had this psychic connection. And I was lying in bed, my eyes wide open, thinking, oh, that's so good, you know. And honestly, whenever I read Harry Potter or I listen to some of it, it almost makes me not want to write, because I'm like, I'm never going to come up with something that good, you know. It's just so perfect, and you know, that could be demotivating, honestly, which is a shame, but you know, I really want to crack on with that book, or that book series, because I think it could be cool and exciting. I'm taking it into a more sci-fi area than the pure fantasy that it was. But yeah, that's just one of the things that's kind of going on, I guess, in my head. And that's the thing, I don't have many ideas for like a film that I want to make, but I know that it's there somewhere, and I always have images of visuals I'd like to present in a film. I just need the story to go along with it, and I think once I get a bit more confidence in myself and a bit more resources to do this, then I think I can come up with some pretty good stuff that I can make on my own. And in the future, you know, if we move back to the UK, then I want to try and get into the film industry. And I have said in the past, it's a goal of mine to work on Star Wars Episode 9. You know, it's years into the future, but it's not, you know, it's not that far. And I'd love to just work, even if I was just like a key grip, you know, just making coffee, whatever. I just want to be involved in a Star Wars film. That would be incredible, and get my foot in the door, you know, which is what I need to do if I want to, you know, make my dreams a reality. But it's going to be tough because I want kids also. We both want kids, and we're not getting any younger, and I definitely don't want to wait too long until we have kids. So yeah, we'll just see what happens. We'll see where life takes us, but those are some of my dreams, to make films and to write books and tell stories. And I've said this in a couple of my vlogs in the past, I'm kind of obsessed with self-preservation, and I think it's quite narcissistic, and it's actually something I don't like about myself, but I really am obsessed with leaving a mark on this world, not by the way of being a Samaritan or anything like that. Not that I, you know, don't feel any compassion towards, you know, stuff like that. It's just that I don't feel I have the passion or the drive or the dedication to devote my life to stuff like that. I like, highly admire people who do. But when I say leave a mark on this world, you know, I mean, you know, in terms of art, you know, and art to me is very important to my life, actually, you know, and this is really getting into it, but I can't understand people who, and this is not a knock on them, I can't get into that headspace where you don't create things, where you don't be artistic. people who, you know, they go through their lives, they wake up Monday morning, they go to work, they come back, you know, they have dinner, they watch what they want to watch, they play what they want to play, they look at what they want to look at, they go to bed, they get up, they do it all over again, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they go out Friday night, they get drunk or whatever, or they go out with some friends, you know, and have a good time, which is nothing wrong with that, and then, you know, they do it all over again on Saturday, they get hungover or whatever, if they drink or not. Sunday they have Sunday dinner, they watch what they want to watch, they play what they want to play, they get up the next morning, they do it all over again, and they never really create anything. And again, I'm not saying this bad against anyone, because I know there are people who I'm friends with who aren't like that, but for me, I have to be creating something, whether it's just like making a little Facebook banner on Photoshop, or whether it's writing a review of something, or, you know, yeah, writing in a book, or thinking of an idea for a film or something like that, or making a YouTube video. That's artistic, you know. I always have to be putting stuff together and creating things, always, constantly. Even though I get lazy, I always have to be creating things, and I don't know how to function any other way. I just have to, you know. Yeah, I don't want to get too far into that, because I could probably offend people, you know. But I'm not taking anything away from people who don't be artistic or creative. But I feel just a constant need to be creatively. I can't even think of a word now. I've boxed myself into a corner, but you know, that's me, and I find it awesome that, you know, I can read an Enid Blyton book in 2014 and enjoy it and recommend it to someone, or, you know, whatever. And Enid Blyton has long since passed away, you know, and has failed to exist in this world for decades, but she doesn't. She still exists because her written word exists and it lives on, and more generations of children will read her books, have her books read to them, and will discover her great stories, and that's really awesome to me. That's really cool. That's what I want. I want to tell stories that will entertain people, that will give them a break from, you know, the monotony of day-to-day life, and to excite them, inspire them, and for that to live on and touch people beyond, you know, my mortal time in this world. That's what I really love. Buster Keaton, absolute genius, you know, master, you know, actor, director, who made films primarily in the 20s, and just a masterstroke of films in the 20s. And I've only just gotten into his films over the past 2 months. In 2014, he made Sherlock Jr. in 1924, 90 years ago. And again, he's long since passed away from this world. But he still lives on, and he still lives on in a big bad way. And my cat's moaning now because it's raining and she's not sure whether she should go out or not. Yeah, I think it's that's a really cool thing about films and about books, is that the stories live on, and the performances and the writing, you know, the creativeness of those people lives on. And I'm probably hammering this point home far too much, but that's really what I want for myself, beyond, obviously, you know, a healthy, happy family. That's what I'm living for, is to have a great family, and that's really the biggest adventure in life that I'm looking forward to the most. But secondary to that, in terms of my creative, you know, mind, that's what I want. I want to make stories, I want to present stories, and make them mean something. So yeah, it's been 15 years in a couple of weeks, on the 4th of July, since I started trying to make films. It's been almost 17 years since I started to, you know, write stories, and hopefully I'll be successful at one of them. But even again, if I just make films and only my family and friends see them, and I make a couple of books that only a few people read, that's still awesome to me. But obviously I would want, you know, a wider audience for that, because yeah, stories are important to me, and as well as films. And this has gone on far too long, but that's me. Yeah, I'm going to be 26 in a couple of weeks, and I'll be knocking on the door of 30. I'll be on the road to 30. I'll be in my late 20s now, which is not too scary, you know. I feel like I'm maturing while still being quite childish at the same time. I'm a bit of an idiot still, but yeah, I think I might make one of these every year, just reflecting on the past year. You know, this past year, living in the country for a whole year away from my family, been tough, but you know, I keep trucking on, and hopefully there'll be good stuff in the future, in the next year, while I'm 26. And yeah, that's it. I mean, I feel like I'm just talking myself into a deep sleep right now, but hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. If you haven't, don't worry, there'll be some more regular videos coming. They'll be a bit more upbeat, a bit more hopeful. Well, this video is hopeful, but I mean it'll be a bit more entertaining, I should say. I got some more Star Wars videos as always, got some more Blu-ray videos, and there's actually a cool YouTube thing coming up that I'm really excited about that you're going to hear about in the next couple of weeks. It'll be really cool, something I've never done before. Looking forward to that a lot. And I'll continue to do YouTube as well, but continue to make videos for YouTube and all that kind of stuff and whatever. Yeah, that's about it from me to you. Oh, that's it. Just to quickly mention, the US trip that we did in March and April was literally the trip of a lifetime. You know, I didn't just call that series the trip of a lifetime to be a cool title. It really was, because I fulfilled 2 lifelong dreams. I went to the States, the America, which I always wanted to go to, and that was amazing and a great experience. And also went to WrestleMania, which is a lifelong dream of mine. So 2 lifelong dreams fulfilled in the same year. It's pretty good going. So I'll leave you with that, and more regular videos to follow very soon. Thank you for watching, and yeah, this has been me talking about being 25 going on 26. See you later.